This is what happens if you cheat in F1. F1 is a very competitive sport, and its rules are always changing and evolving with the times. But what happens when the teams and drivers try to cheat the rules? Welcome to another exciting video from RacePace. Today we'll be talking about what happens when you cheat in F1. Stay tuned so you can find out. Please remember to like and share the video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon so that you can see more exciting content from us. According to the Forbes list, Formula One athletes are some of the highest paid, the likes of which we have Lewis Hamilton of the Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 Team, who earns $55 million, Fernando Alonso of the Alpine F1 Team, who comes in second with $20.5 million, and Max Verstappen of Aston Martin Red Bull Racing F1 Team, who earns $19.13 million yearly, and so on. Formula One racing, since its inception, has seen a lot of moments where the participating teams and racers have tried to bypass the rules of the sport. The pressure from all the money invested in them and their great desire to win can lead them to doing unconventional things to give themselves advantages to win and stay in that spotlight. They're always finding ways to beat the system, but there have been instances where they went too far and got punished for cheating. Number 1. Cutting corners. Harry Schell, 1959 United States Grand Prix. Harry Schell was the son of American immigrants living in Europe. His parents were heavily invested in the sport and managed their team called Écurie Bleue. Harry Schell was a grand player on the F1 grid throughout the 50s. He was a celebrated driver within the post-war auto race sport. Change of integrity, the works BRM team for 1958, the Yank driver had his best season with the championship, proving an honest point scorer at the team. After rating 5 points with the team in 1959, Schell switched to a Cooper T51 for the ultimate race of the year at Sebring, his home event. While not nearly the maximum amount of media attention or cameras compared to modern F1, Schell's spectacular time to secure third on the grid at 3 minutes 5.2 seconds per lap nudged Ferrari Tony Brooks off the front at the tip of the session, when Schell's deception became evident when the race was over. On his qualifying run, Harry took advantage of an unmanned marshal's post round the back of the track to make a shortcut, cut out the whole back straight, and slowly created his approach back onto the circuit, presumably to not arouse suspicion. Schell managed to shave many seconds off his time. Perhaps a form of karma at play, Schell's clutch expired on the 6th lap. Regardless, it rendered today's track limit complaints worthless. Number 2. The Spygate-Stepneygate Incident. Macarena, 2007 season. The F1 Spygate incident can be considered one of the most memorable cheating scandals in Formula One history. The whole incident started after Ferrari's chief mechanic, Nigel Stepney, had a formal complaint filed against him, which led to an investigation and led to his dismissal due to irregularities found in the Ferrari factory before the Monaco Grand Prix. On the same day Stepney was dismissed, charges were filed against the McLaren team engineer, Mike Colon, and his wife Trudy Colon over the theft of crucial technical information, which was a 780-page file full of confidential info. Investigations were carried out by the FIA, and McLaren was finally summoned by the FIA World Motorsport Council, where they were found guilty of breaching one of the codes of conduct, but were not punished since evidence of them using the information didn't exist. But the FIA reserved the right to reconvene, and a second hearing took place on the 13th of September 2007. By then, compelling evidence resulted in severe penalties for the team, which led to the team's exclusion from the Constructors' Championship and a record-breaking fine of $100 million. Number 3. Deliberate crashes. Michael Schumacher, 1994 and 1997. Michael Schumacher is always remembered for his brilliance behind the track. He managed to capture 7 world championships in his career. That also includes his 155 podiums and 91 race wins. which he will always be remembered for. But he also had a few controversies attached, and one of them is the deliberate crashing tactic. The first time this happened was in the 1994 Australian Grand Prix at Adelaide. The German racer was in the lead in the opening lap, with Damon Hill following him for most of the initial duration of the race. An unforced racing error by the German opened up an opportunity for Hill, who attempted to pass him at the following corner, but Schumacher held his line and turned, which led to a collision with Damon Hill's car. He was eliminated on the spot but was not penalized. Since the stewards decided that it was accidental, he eventually won the title with 1 point. But due to the unsportsmanlike behavior, he was criticized by the public. You would have thought he learned his lesson, but he tried the same move on Jacques Villeneuve in 1997, which led to his disqualification for the season. Number 4. Crashgate, Renault, 2008 Singapore Grand Prix. The following year after the Spygate incident, F1 played host to another cheating scandal. The return of Fernando Alonso led to an increase in the performance of the Renault team, and things were looking quite good for them, as they had the prospect of winning the Singapore Grand Prix. Things were going well on the track for the Renault racer until his car suffered a fuel problem and left him stranded on the scene, which was bad for the two-time champion as he landed in 15th. He made a pit stop so he could get back on track, although things were looking grim until Nelson Piquet Jr., his teammate, crashed into a wall and a safety car was called. Due to the fortuitous timing of the crash car, and with the pit lane closed because of the safety car, he was able to get closer to the leading opposition and eventually snagged a victory which he attributed to the crash. The truth would eventually come to light after Piquet was dropped by the Renault team due to his poor performance midway through 2009. He went to the FIA with a complaint and his testimony that he was ordered to crash by Flavio Briatore and Pat Symonds, so he could give Alonso the chance to win. Alonso was not aware of the ploy, but Flavio Briatore and Pat Symonds, who left Renault following the allegations, were punished, with Symonds getting a 5-year ban and Briatore getting a lifetime ban because he held an official position in the team. Renault also lost the sponsorship deal in the ING group. Number 5. Secret Fuel Tank, BAR, 2005 season. In 2004, the British-American racing team, BAR, made a great comeback from their previous bleary record, managing to cut the second position in the season, which was an improvement from their records since the creation of the team in 1999. They were carried by Jenson Button, who had a lot of podium finishes and managed to bag third place in the championship. However, in 2005, the team didn't have a great start with the first 3 races, where they didn't score any points. But in Imola, things were starting to look a little brighter, with Button qualifying and finishing 3rd, and Takuma Sato, Button's teammate, starting 6th and finishing 5th. It was a joyous moment for the BAR team. Until it wasn't. After the race, an investigation was carried out because it was discovered that Button's car was underweight and, by a twist of fate, the stewards found a hidden secondary fuel tank which could house 11 kilograms of fuel in the car, which meant the car could run under the weight limit and that they didn't drain all of the fuel from the car when they said they had to the stewards. They maintained that an extra fuel tank was necessary for the cars to work and that it never ran under the limit, although it was impossible to prove it. They were summoned before the International Court of Appeal, and after the hearing, Button and Sato were disqualified from the San Marino Grand Prix. The next 2 races in Spain and Monaco were given a 6-month ban. There were many more instances of incidents like this occurring in F1 history. If you'd like to add yours, you can put it down in the comments section. Please don't forget to like the video and remember to subscribe and click on the bell icon so you can check out our future videos. Till next time.